Stardew Valley, Club Penguin, World of Warcraft. You might think these games have nothing in common, but that's where you'd be wrong. Because despite their differences in genre, setting, and graphical intensity, they all share one oddly specific design choice. One mechanic that's become so common that we've completely stopped questioning it. Fishing. Have you ever spent 8 hours sitting on the open water in the cold, only to return home with a haul of one tiny fish? Well, I haven't either, because fishing in real life sucks. But for some reason, in every video game I've ever played, it's my favourite thing to do. Planting crops? Boring. Catching bugs? No thanks. Mining? Only if there's a conveniently placed underground lake where I can stop and do some fishing. It doesn't matter what the game is, if somebody hands me a fishing rod, my main quest immediately becomes whatever is swimming in that river. But what is it about fishing that's so special? Developers could have chosen anything. Golf, beekeeping, competitive knitting, yet somehow it's always fishing. And it's become a staple part of almost every game on the market. Cozy games? Obviously they have fishing, that makes sense. MMOs? Absolutely. Spend a few hundred hours next to a lake for some extra cash. But then things start getting strange. Because even games that have you racing to stop the apocalypse still find the time to hand you a fishing rod. Apparently the fate of the kingdom can wait 5 minutes while you try and catch a particularly stubborn trout. Fishing is everywhere. Not just in games where it makes sense, but also in ones where it absolutely shouldn't. So what is it about this one mechanic that developers just can't seem to resist? And how did one of the most boring hobbies on Earth become one of the most common experiences in video game history? Every fishing minigame has their own unique flavour, a patented gameplay loop designed to reel you in a variety of different ways. In Animal Crossing, fishing is all about collecting. Mechanically, it's pretty uncomplicated, but beneath the surface, there's a lot going on. Just walk up to any body of water, ocean, river, or teeny tiny pond, and search for the shadows of swimming fish. Aim your rod in said fish's general direction, cast it, and after a few nibbles designed to try and fake you out, they stop messing around and take a real bite. That's your cue to reel them in. The shadows don't reveal much about the kind of fish that you're hoping to catch, apart from a vague suggestion about their size and how likely they are to try and eat you, so you only find out what you've caught after reeling it in. You can and should sell your surplus fish for cash and show off your superior fishing skills in the monthly fishing tournaments. But none of that is the real goal of fishing in Animal Crossing. The real goal is catching them all. Every new catch fills another space in the museum, slowly transforming an empty aquarium into a living collection in a way that feels extremely satisfying. But Nintendo doesn't want you running out of content in a weekend, so it's intentionally designed to take a long time to catch them all. Fish are spread out seasonally and according to the time of day, meaning some can only be caught in the river during summer, and others won't get out of bed before midnight in the winter. As well as this, there are huge fluctuations in the local fish population, making some fish, I'm looking at you, sea bass, extremely common, and others exceedingly rare, even in the right conditions. Because Animal Crossing runs in real time, completing your collection is designed to take roughly a year. Yep, a whole real-life year. Although hopefully you'll still put your Nintendo Switch down to eat every now and then. You might think this is bad design, a goal so big that players will get bored and stop trying. But it's actually kind of genius, because fishing gives you a reason to keep coming back to the rest of the game. The collection isn't designed to be completed as quickly as possible. It's designed to keep you invested in the world around it. Every season brings something new to discover, and every weather change becomes exciting. A rainy afternoon suddenly isn't just bad weather, it's your opportunity to catch a fish that only shows up in the rain. Before you know it, you've come back to fish and stayed to decorate your house, chat to some villagers, or rearrange your island. While Animal Crossing treats fishing as a collection to slowly chip away at over the course of a year, Stardew Valley treats it as a skill, one that you're expected to fail at, repeatedly. The Stardew Valley fishing experience is much more mechanically complicated. Cast your rod into the open ocean, and when you hear a bite, try desperately to keep your little green bar on top of the wriggling pixelated fish fighting for its life. At first, it's awful. The fish dart around uncontrollably like they've just consumed 3 espressos and a family-sized bag of sugar, and your tiny green bobber just won't move like you want it to. If that wasn't hard enough, there's even a second fishing minigame hidden inside the first fishing minigame, a randomly generated treasure chest that promises mysterious rewards if you can master the mechanics of essentially catching 2 fish with the same little green bar. But as you fight a war for every bass and piece of garbage, you improve. Your reactions become quicker, and you realize that not only are you good at this now, but you're also having fun. The fishing that once seemed impossible suddenly becomes relaxing. And before you know it, you've leveled up. As you progress, you gain access to various skills and bonuses, and gain the ability to upgrade your rod, craft an assortment of different baits, and select a tackle to improve your skill, or increase your odds of hauling in that extra bonus treasure, as well as giving you a taste of the Pokemon experience by completing bundles, and providing the complexity of collecting different fish during different seasons. Stardew Valley gives you something unique: the experience of mastery. You don't just catch better fish, you become a better fisherman. What begins as one of gaming's most frustrating mechanics slowly becomes one of its most satisfying, until one day you're wielding an iridium rod and charging the townspeople double for your skillful catches. Minecraft has a very interesting relationship with fishing. Unlike most other minigames, its primary purpose isn't to earn you money, it's to give you food. You can't really trade fish for anything useful, and there's no one to sell it to. As an activity, it doesn't give you a huge amount of XP, and honestly, eating the fish isn't even that great. On paper, fishing should be one of the least rewarding activities in the game. But in reality, what keeps you coming back is the thrill of gambling. Because in Minecraft, fish aren't the only thing that you can catch. You could get enchanted books, or some random, but interesting, junk. You never know what you're going to get, and that's part of the appeal. The relaxing atmosphere of enjoying the nostalgic Minecraft skyline, the music drifting in and out. The only thing breaking the silence is the occasional splash of your bobber dipping beneath the surface. It's peaceful, but underneath that calm atmosphere is a slot machine, and every cast is another spin. Another gamble into a machine that has no guarantee of paying out. That is what makes Minecraft fishing so addictive. It asks almost nothing of you, mechanically. You cast your line, wait, and click, but psychologically, it's constantly teasing the possibility of a jackpot. Whether it's a frantic test of reflexes, a relaxing collectathon, or a simple click every few seconds, the end result is always the same. You stop what you're doing, find the nearest body of water, and suddenly catching one more fish becomes the most important objective in the game. So if fishing feels addictive, no matter how it shows up, what keeps you coming back for more? No matter what chaos is going on around you in the game world, fishing gives you an opportunity to slow down, hit pause, and take a break for a while. It's a task that encourages you to take a breather and gives you permission to stop stressing out for a few minutes. Your crops are dying in Stardew Valley because you forgot to water them? Sounds like a problem for future you. Time to go fishing. Worried about paying back your monumental debt to Tom Nook? Catch some friendly neighborhood sea bass. It probably won't be enough to pay off your loan, but you will feel better. Hyrolla's on the brink of collapse and Zelda has been missing for weeks? No worries. There's still time for a relaxing fishing stop on the way. The fate of the world can hang in the balance, your farm can be falling apart, your mortgage can be spiraling out of control, and somehow the game never judges you for taking some time out to make some fishy friends. Fishing minigames have this magical ability to turn the most urgent quest imaginable into something that you might get around to eventually. Because sure, saving the world is important, but what if the next fish is a really big one? As well as giving you a well-deserved mental break, fishing hacks into a part of your brain that is hardwired to love unpredictability. Because you never know exactly what you're going to reel in. You don't know, your brain doesn't know, the 100th sea bass that you're about to catch also doesn't know. So naturally, the only reasonable solution is to cast your line another 47 times. It's the same little goblin in your brain that yearns for just one more TikTok. And before you know it, you're watching a man in Albania pressure wash his driveway. If you knew before you tried that your next 27 catches would be a sea bass, you would be pretty bored. And if you were given the choice of the 300 TikToks you inevitably end up scrolling through, you probably wouldn't watch any of them either. But the potential promise of the next random thing paying off, your next reel finally giving you that coveted catfish, keeps things interesting. The anticipation of what you might catch, followed by the surprise of what you end up getting, gives your brain a double hit of dopamine that keeps you engaged and curious. The mystery of what the reward might be is as good as the reward itself, making these fish-shaped variable rewards much more fun than certainty. For me, fishing in games is a surefire way to get me into a flow state. That delightful haze of feeling completely relaxed and deeply focused at the same time, where the hours disappear in what feels like minutes, and for a while, the incessant yapping of my internal monologue quiets down. Because sitting in front of a pixelated pond, desperately searching for an eel, is the perfect balance of not being so easy that it's boring, while also not being so difficult that it feels stressful. You're forced to focus on the ebb and flow of the digital waves, made to listen out for the tiny splashes of your bobber being pulled underwater, and readied for the imminent need to click just the right amount to stop your catch from getting away. Every cast feels familiar, yet every fish asks for just enough attention to keep you present. A flow state requires a few specific ingredients: a clear goal, immediate feedback, and a challenge that closely matches your skill level. Every fishing minigame is designed specifically to hit these key steps. You're trying to catch a lionfish for the museum. You can see the fish in the water and feel the emotional repercussions of succeeding or letting them escape. You're forced to concentrate, but you manage to find what you're after most of the time. This repetition is exactly what leads you into the chillest flow state of your life. That feeling is what keeps you playing for another 5 minutes. But it isn't what keeps you coming back the next day. Because you're convinced fishing itself is enjoyable, you're given a reason to care about what you catch. The harder a fish is to find, the greater sense of achievement you feel when you finally catch it. And when those rare catches are part of a larger collection, your motivation only gets stronger. You aren't just fishing for the sake of it, you're trying to complete something. Your small wins are bridged together with one overarching goal. Every new fish fills another empty slot, giving you a tangible sense of progress towards a clear finish line. Because every cast has 2 possible rewards. You might catch the fish you've been searching for, or at the very least, you move one cast closer to the moment where you inevitably do. It's not an endless task designed to keep you busy. You know exactly what you're working towards, and it pays off when you get there. There's a unique satisfaction in seeing the final space filled, a feeling of closure that's surprisingly rare in games. It's a perfect example of how our brains are drawn to structure. A clearly defined goal, visible progress, and the promise of completion make the next cast feel meaningful, even if all you're doing is trying to catch one more fish. But fishing isn't just satisfying because it gives you goals to chase. It also changes the way you see the world around you. Once fish become something worth collecting, lakes stop being just pieces of scenery that you run past on the way to your next objective. They become places with purpose. Places worth returning to. Places that seem to have a life of their own. Fishing provides a reason to look forward to the changing of the seasons, the motivation to log on at a different time than normal, and a way for you to look forward to a grey, rainy day instead of feeling sad. The oceans, the seasons, the weather, they aren't just dressing that's shoehorned in. When you're fishing, they all matter. Your experience feels more purposeful, more meaningful, and more alive. The reason fishing shows up in almost every game imaginable isn't because developers simply love fish. It's because of what fishing offers you. A collection, a sense of mastery, the thrill of chance. Fishing is one of the few in-game mechanics designed to slow you down. You aren't rewarded for speed, aggression, or optimization. You're rewarded for patience, perseverance, and the ability to keep going even after catching nothing but sea bass all day. When games and life often feel frantic, desperate, and stressful, fishing creates little pockets of stillness. Opportunities to relax, reach a flow state, feel the excitement of the unknown, complete something final, and reasons to keep coming back once the seasons change. Fishing rewards exploration, creates collections, builds atmosphere, and provides progression. And that's why it works in almost every game, even if 97% of the time, it's just another sea bass.